Greetings, Elder Blacklight. Now we seen what's going on in the so-called conscious community. Not only in the conscious community, but in the black diaspora all over the planet. Brothers is being corrupted. Remember I Spy with Bill Cosby and Robert Culp? I think Bill Cosby was one of the first black serious drama actors, even though he was a comedian, on television. He was a smart businessman also. But that was a series about agents, undercover, spying, I Spy. Well, Brother Malcolm, according to my mother, she worked on alongside of Malcolm. He was very, very ambitious and impatient. He was an impatient brother, but very, very smart. Street smart. But she told me he thought the progress of the Muslims was Malcolm thought the progress of the Muslims during that time she was in the temple was very slow. They wasn't doing enough. He was tired of meeting in storefronts, and he wanted to build a temple and a lot of things he wanted to do. He didn't like the progress or the pace that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was setting at the time. Now, when Elijah sent his son to study, I don't know, was it in Egypt or somewhere? Could have been Africa, could have been uh, another spot. I got to go back into my read some records of where he sent Wallace to study. But that's when the enemy got to Wallace before Malcolm. Now I don't know. I may be wrong. I don't have no concrete proof, but it's my perspective or concept or the way I see it is that uh, he influenced Wallace. Wharf Dean influenced Malcolm, but I don't believe Malcolm bit right away. But by him being impatient, he said a comment about the chickens come home to roost that Young Elijah Muhammad told him to stand down on. And he gave him a few days off. But, a lot of brothers was looking up to Malcolm. They felt Malcolm could do no wrong, see. And Malcolm was aware of this, and he was embarrassed. And in the meantime, Wharf Dean whispering in his ear. And Malcolm whispering in Ali's ear, you see. But they don't know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted to make Ali a minister because he had more influence, but he wanted him to stop. Plus, he could talk just as good as Malcolm. He could talk better to the white people than Malcolm, and to the black people. And he told him to stop. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Muhammad Ali to stop boxing and become a minister. But he disobeyed him. He kept on boxing. But the FBI was up on everything. So they paid Malcolm a visit. This audio was recorded.
How do you do? With the FBI. You have a couple minutes while I'm talking? No, a couple minutes. Your name is Beckwith? Beckwith, right? And your name is Fulton. Fulton. Right. From which, New York. New York. There's only one. Only one here. This is probably what you assumed we came for, to obtain any information you wanted to give us about the Muslims. I didn't assume anything. No. That's a very general statement on my part, but as you know, we follow the activities of the Muslims as best we can. But we're always looking for new avenues of information, and who better than the head of the Muslims. At least up till a month ago or something like that. How's your suspension status? No one knows but Mr. Muhammad. Yes, you're still in the status of now. I mean, you're not working now, or teaching now at all. Well, I'm still under the suspension. That's what I think. That's a temporary thing, as far as we know. He's the only one who can give out any information. I couldn't say anything beyond what he has said. Yeah, and I think he has said that it's a temporary suspension. I'll be frank with you. One of the reasons we picked this particular time to contact you is because of this suspension. The suspension was brought about by my own doing. Yeah, exactly. But who knows what was in your mind when you did receive the suspension. In other words, bitterness could have entered into it. It would not be illogical for someone to have spent so many years doing something and be suspended. No, it should make him stronger, because it makes him realize that law applies to the law enforcer as well as those who are under the enforcement of the enforcer. Right, you've taken nearly a perfect attitude toward the thing, which is almost unhuman, really. You've taken the attitude that Mr. Muhammad wants everyone to take if he chastises them. Which is fine. More power to it.
Listen to him. Psychology. Let's pause it right here. Now he's trying to run simple psychology under Malcolm, and they hadn't penetrated Malcolm enough. So, but who sent the FBI there? It could have been Wharf Dean. But now, who recorded that? If Malcolm recorded it, what was said before he pushed the button, the record button, and what was said after? Now, most of all the brothers and sisters fall for their simple psych, because they try to psych on your ego. So check this.
Front Page Challenge welcomes the outspoken Negro leader, Malcolm X.
Sir, what's the real reason why you two men split? Is it merely ideological, or is it personality? What else?
Probably personality. It was not the statement that originally was given
Now,
by the
Malcolm-
movement when we split.
Now Malcolm is sweating.
More personality than
He's
anything.
sweating
You
right
called
there.
people like Martin Luther King, who just got a Nobel Peace Prize, an Uncle Tom. Is this correct? First?
Well, I'd rather say that in the States, there's
Divide
a
and
law
conquer.
that has recently been passed, or a decision handed down by the court, wherein if you call someone an Uncle Tom, they can sue you for libel.
Well,
So I never refer to them as Uncle Toms. I would
See, my beef with this is after that split, he shouldn't have been talking to the Caucasian, to the white press, about anything about Malcolm X, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or Martin Luther King. See, they profile Malcolm. They know his personality. They know his ego. They know it, and that's what they're working on. See, but for Malcolm to call the Caucasian his enemy all the time, he shouldn't have never went on television exposing what he thought was the private life of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That should have been kept in-house. If he had a beef with him, he should have went with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or to him and talked to him after he served his suspension. But he kept running his mouth, and so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him a longer extension. This is to be continued. We're gonna break down how they psych on the brothers and sisters. Black light.